welcome back. So I just woke up, I slept in, it's almost 9 o'clock, but before I get going today, I am feeling very stiff and I have to release a lot of the tension in my back so my nervous system isn't overfiring. So I'm going to use one of these. Thank you, Alex. These are awesome. I'm going to dig that hard spot out of my back so my nervous system can relax a little bit and I'll have a better breath hold out there. So I'm using this like trigger point therapy. I'm looking for the hard spot in there and then I'm going to dig into it and then consciously release that tension. That's going to allow my nervous system to calm down a lot more. I'll be a lot more relaxed out there and I'm going to have a much better day. Now, if I were a better diver, I would probably stretch before I went out every time, but honestly, I don't. Here, I'm just stretching my rib cage out and my diaphragm, so that's going to allow me to take a bigger breath in, and it's also going to allow my torso to compress more at depth. So that's going to help me relax even more because I don't want to hold any unnecessary tension while I'm diving. Now, contrary to popular belief, you actually don't want to do much static stretching before doing anything athletic because it will tell your fast twitch muscles to calm down, and that's going to make you slow, tired, and weak. But in something like diving, which is anti-athletic, we can use this to our advantage to get the nervous system to calm down. However, using active mobility where we're engaging the muscles in the end range of motion is called mobility work, and we can use that before athletic training, just so no one is confused out there. And I think I will be starting to use this in my morning routine on top of drinking my cacao. And of course, plenty of electrolyte water. And I will say that after doing this really short, easy routine, I do feel much better and a lot more ready for my day out there because I'm going to need it. All right, so luckily I packed the whole truck last night, so I'm ready to go. All I got to do is just throw the rest of this chum in here, and we're off. It's a little rainy out this way today, so I'm going to head to Jake's. He said it's kind of nice up there. It's coming in a little bit heavy, so we're going to try a new spot that we haven't dove before, but it's kind of in the same general area. We just have a new entrance, so we're going to see how it goes out there today. All right. Look who it is. Might have a storm rolling in. That should be fun, but we know the spot pretty well. Could be good. All right, just got to get all this gear on this body. All right, nice and easy. That's a long ways down there. Thank you. Oh, the things we do for diving, man. Oh, does that look cool? Yeah, we have highlights. All right, look good, feel good, that's what I say. Whew. All right, let's do this. Hey. All these little crimps. Get all these nice handholds. Beautiful. All right, Jake's gonna do a backflip before we get in. And here we go. We're in. We're going to start right away with this old lobster carcass, and we're just going to chum this guy up and see if we can get some fish to come in here down for the first drop of the day. And it's about the mid 40s or so here, and we are in heavy surge. You can see that this water is just pushing me all over the reef, and it is very difficult to stay in one spot down here. But there's some fish moving around, even if it is a little bit murky. And Jake is treading water above me, trying to fight that current so he can stay on top of me. I'm taking a look around, but I am very uncomfortable here. I have to pin myself to the reef, and I'm just going to try to get my lungs warmed up, but I am not seeing a whole lot. So that's my warm-up. Going to head on back up. Then heading down for dive number 2, we headed out a little bit deeper, and there's that beautiful banded angelfish that comes in. He's a really big one, and I guess they're pretty rare, but I do see them quite a bit out on this coast. And now that it's a little bit deeper, it's a little bit calmer. There's a really nice munu there. There's a nice broomtail. I'm not going to be super selective today because I just need some food. So while that munu's not the biggest one, he's definitely big enough for me to shoot. I'm just going to wait for the right shot on this guy, and hopefully he gives it to me just like that. Put a stone shot right through his brain. I'm going to head up to the surface with my first fish of the day.
Three-prong that guy.
So we're feeling pretty good about this zone, so we're trying to stay in relatively the same spot, even though that current is desperately trying to pull us down the coast. So I settled down as deep as I can here into the sand to try to avoid that miserable surge. And as I settle in, I see it's pretty fishy out here. So I'm just hoping that if I keep my head down and scratch a little bit and make some grunts, then I might see something super cool come in, like an uku maybe, or omilu. But all I'm seeing is that super cool broomfish up there, a couple small munus, and not really a whole lot else that I'm interested in. So I'm not going to waste my breath on this dive. I'm going to go up and try them again. And because the current is ripping so hard, we're going to try to empty this chum bag so it reduces the drag on us, makes it a little bit easier. So then we were thinking that if we headed out a little bit farther and a little bit deeper, it might calm down a little bit. So I'm in about the 20-meter zone here, and I don't really see anything up close because I'm not really in the thick boulders anymore, but there are some fish in the background, and I do see some invasives moving around, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on today because I just need some food, and invasives like towel are really good eating, and you can never feel bad about grabbing those. So I'm just gonna wait till he gives me the right shot when he clears the rocks right there, so that way I don't damage my shaft. I get a nice holding shot in the top of the fish. The flopper does not catch anything, thankfully, and I can surface just fine. I look at hunting invasives kind of like shooting zombies, where it's a justified, guilt-free form of killing. But we are having a miserable time trying to stay in one spot. You can see how much drag that flash line is causing as we desperately try to swim against this current so we don't get swept miles down the coast. And because we're not able to relax because we have to swim so hard to stay in one spot, it is significantly impacting our breath hold today. So it's very difficult to relax down here, and I'm not really given as much time as I normally have, but there's a lot of really nice goats out here. There's a really fat munu coming in, and I try to move my gun slowly to catch up with him, but he's on to me and he takes off. I'm not really seeing a whole lot else. I'm pretty uncomfortable with my breath hold today because I have to work so hard out here. So I'm going to give it one more quick glance around, but I'm not really seeing anything coming in. I'm going to save it for the next one. But in the meantime, Jake comes up with this dinner plate size cole. Look at that thing.
Biggest thing down there.
Jake just speared the world record cole. I'm pretty sure. It's like the biggest cole I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We could eat off of it.
Yeah. I was like gonna shoot at the op end. I was like, might as
Yeah,
well.
might as well take a cole. It's bigger.
And while I normally wouldn't be that motivated to shoot a cole, I am a little inspired by Jake, so I give this kind of a half attempt at a big cole, and I missed. And now, because of some sinus issues I was having yesterday after cleaning up my wood shop, I was having a bit of an equalization issue in my right ear here. So while I tried to get all the way to the bottom into the sand, this was as deep as I can make it on this drop. So I'm just going to have to settle for this and try to tuck into this rock the best I can. And I do see some pretty nice moo in the background. And while I don't think I'm in the right spot to hunt those guys and play the game right now, I can come up with a good game plan for the next dive if I can get that ear to clear. So I'm figuring out where they're moving and what they're looking at. And I'm going to try not to spook them so they can get used to my presence. And then when I come back down the next dive, they might be a little bit more curious and they might come in on me and give me the shot I'm looking for. And because we're not really seeing any bigger fish, Jake decides to swap out his gun for the 3-prong and comes up with a pachi.
That's a nice pachi.
There's like 30 of them in there.
Right on.
You want to go?
Not yet. I want to get those moo.
Okay.
So I was able to clear up my ear issue. I'm feeling a lot better now. Even though I'm really nauseous, I can equalize and I can hold my breath now. So I settled into this spot that I've been trying to get to for a little bit, and there's some really nice veckes around, and I think about taking them, but I'm really kind of committed to these moo because I know they're watching me in the distance. It's taken all my restraint not to line up on these big veckes, but I have a mission in mind, so I'm just going to keep my head down, make a little bit of noise and scratch and wave my flasher around, and there's 2 big moo in the background. One of them is really big and he seems interested. He is coming in. I very gently pick my gun up and he's coming in more. I can tell he's committed. I'm just waiting for the right shot. He gives me a nice easy broadside shot, but I completely botched it. I hit him too low. He grabs the reef and rips himself off and breaks my heart. So after throwing a tantrum on the surface, I decide to collect myself and come back down to the same exact spot and try them again. I know the moo are still out here and I'm willing to play the game. I cleared my head and they came right back in. And while these ones are about half the size of the one that I just shot, which was easily 4 or 5 pounds, I do love moo enough to take one this size, and they're not huge, but if he gives me the right shot, I will take him, and he does. I was patient that time. It lined up correctly. I put a good holding shot into him. Unfortunately, the spear does wrap into that coral head. I give it a couple tugs, but since I don't want to break anything, I'm just going to release the line, and I'm going to surface and deal with it later. So I'm going to save my breath, not risk anything, and just make sure I get to the surface safely, and then Jake can help me out. So while I'm recovering, Jake does a breathe up and he goes down with his 3-prong, and like any legend would, he releases my shaft for me so I can pull my fish up, and then he loads his 3-prong and then starts picking through the rocks there. He shoots something and he's coming up to the surface, so Jake gets a 2 for 1. He helps me out with my fish and he gets a fish of his own. What's up?
Shot, man, that was fun. Fatty. Yes.
And now, despite our best efforts, we are getting pushed down the coast quite a bit with this current, but we end up in this super cool bouldery zone with all this really healthy coral on it. And as I get down here, I'm going to use these pieces of coral as handholds and pull myself into my hunting spot. And these cracks are holding a ton of fish, a lot of life, so I'm going to try to position myself right in here tucked up against this boulder because it seems like an ideal location to hide and to see everything. And I have my gun kind of laid across me. I'm perpendicular to it, so it's aimed to my left a little bit because I feel like if there's any fish that are going to come in on me here, they're going to come in from around that boulder. And there are some really nice moo in the background. They're just not quite the size that I'm looking for. And when I look back, there's a really nice moo, but he's also not quite the right size. But that one is, he passes right in front of the gun, and all I have to do is just tap that trigger and give him a spine shot. So super stoked on that guy. He's an absolute tank. I'm going to head up to the surface with him all stoked out.
That's what I was hoping would happen.
Yeah, me too. Good job.
Thank you. See how I got the gun just laying sideways?
Yeah. Right in front of you.
So right in front of the spear. Thank you. Appreciate that. Whew.
And now we have been out here for quite a while. And even though I'm feeling really nauseous, I still want to get a lot more fish. I don't have that much yet, and even though I'm stoked about what I do have, I have to get fish for the week, and I don't quite have enough yet. So I'm staying hopeful. I feel like I got a good hiding spot in here, and we still have a long ways to go before we can get out of the water. So as long as we're making our way back slowly, we're going to keep taking drops along the way. I see some nice minpachis in that hole behind me, and I think about them for a second, but I changed my mind. I don't really want to shoot into a hole. So I'm going to hope that something comes in around this corner because I'm feeling really good about this spot, but I'm not seeing anything. There's a couple moo in the background, and there's a really nice moo right there. He's checking me out. I've been down here for a bit. I'm pretty uncomfortable. My nausea is catching up to me. But I'm going to look for this handhold as I pull myself onto my butt and try to stay low as I stalk this guy. Stay underneath this rock and see if I can close the gap. So I reach for this handhold so I can pull myself against the surge and try to close the distance, but he's onto it. So as I come skidding in here, I'm going to stop myself on that coral head so I can position my body behind these rocks, which gives me a pretty good advantageous position where I can see everything around me, and I'm also pretty well hidden. And while I did see quite a bit of life moving from the surface, I couldn't really see what it was. So that's why I came down here to investigate. And unfortunately, I'm not really seeing the amount of movement I was hoping to, but there are some pretty nice invasives over there that toa would be perfect. And while he's not super big, he does give me the right shot. And taking another invasive home to eat is always a good thing. So pretty stoked about that.
Let's get them invasives.
Yeah, man, you're
Yes,
winning your invasive prize today. Your big bag of prawns.
Guess who's... Yeah.
Fully invasive dinner.
There we go.
Are there more three-prongers down there?
Oh yeah, definitely. Lots of them, yep.
This spot, once we move from here, we picked up way more.
Yeah, we should head back soon.
And we're probably not even putting a dent in the population, but every bit helps. So then Jake goes back down again with his 3-prong underneath these rocks, and he is just cleaning up out here today.
He's on a roll.
I lost the first one.
Yeah.
So now we're getting pretty over it, and while we do have a good grip of fish, I would love to get one more. So as we're making our way back to our exit, I'm still going to take some drops along the way and just hope I can get something else nice to take home with me. So I'm going to settle in down here, keep my head down and completely relax. The current has let up a little bit as we went in, but we're not really seeing as many fish out here. For some reason, I think the current brings a lot of fish. And there's a really nice honu in the background. He's checking me out, seeing what I'm up to. Pretty big one too. I'm not really seeing any fish other than that veke, but he is out of there. So I'm gonna save my breath and head up, and on my way, I'm gonna turn back around and give that giant honu a shaka wave and keep moving. So as we're closing in our exit point, I see a pretty decent moo pile, and I have to go take a drop. It's not super deep. It's only in about the mid-40s or so, which is a little bit shallow for these moo, but if they're curious, I'm hunting, and I'm trying to overpower my nausea at this point. I'm really trying not to palu in the water, but when I get down to the bottom, I feel a lot better. And there's a lot of fish right behind me to my left. I think about taking those king coles because I would love to get another fish, but again, I'm committed to these moo. And there's a nice one right there. He would definitely make me happy. So I'm going to see if I can close the gap on him. I think he's going to give me the right shot. I take these lunging long distance shots all the time, and they tend to work out. So I'm feeling good about this one. I lunge, I pull the trigger, and again, I am just off my game today. Just graze the top of him. Bummer. Oh well, it happens. Still have a lot to learn out here. But it would seem that all of our efforts are paying off today. Check out that beautiful kui, huh? Doing the dance. Pretty stoked about that. Now I'm feeling like I have one more dive in me today, so I threw my throw flasher and the current pushes it on top of this rock, and as I grab it, I try to get underneath this rock, and the surge pushes me into this rock, pins my gun into the coral head and slices it off. So I kind of needed a new band anyway, but that's going to be the end of my day right there.
That's it. That's my side right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't need any more fish. I don't feel that great. Let's head in.
Cool, let's get out right there.
All right, perfect. Yeah, right.
So now we're only about a 10-minute swim from our exit point, so we decide to sprint on in, and as we get closer, all this sediment picks up, and it creates this super trippy landscape underneath us. But with this nausea that we're experiencing, it gives quite a bit of vertigo, and it's really not helping at all. It is kind of pushing us around a little bit, so we're going to try to fight past this so we can get into that whitewash and get ourselves out of the water for today. Just a little bit of a hectic exit, and we are out of here. We got some fish. Earned them out there today. A little hectic, not feeling great, pretty nauseous, but got plenty of food, a little bit of heartbreak, but it's just the way it goes out there. Glad to be back on land, go clean up some gear and make some food. Good girl. Been so patient. Just kidding. This girl got no patience. But a big appetite. Okay, so it is now tomorrow. Last night we were way too tired, did not feel like cooking, so we're gonna do it for lunch again today. And Megan made these really awesome pita pockets out of her sourdough. So we are going to mince up some of that miscellaneous reef fish. We're gonna mix a bunch of stuff in it, stuff it in those pockets, and then we're gonna pan fry those. I don't know what to call it, but it's gonna be awesome. Since we don't need a lot, we're just gonna use the toas from yesterday, and that should be plenty. And next, we're gonna mince up these shallots. And of course, some garlic. And some green onion from the garden. A couple local organic eggs we're gonna throw in there. A scoop of mayonnaise. A healthy scoop, I should say. And my dad just sent me some of his homegrown horseradish, so thank you, Dad. We're gonna throw a scoop of that in there. I love this stuff. We're not shy with that. And Parmesan cheese. Okay, because we have it, we're gonna use that chili lime sea salt, but any salt will work. Usually I would use garlic salt. We have garlic in there already. So about 3 pinches I think ought to do it. 3.5. Some ground ginger. And some cayenne. This is extra spicy cayenne, so we don't need much of it. Mm-hmm. Plenty.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna mix that up. And we got Megan's homemade sourdough pita pockets. We're gonna cut this in half first. And then we're gonna open these up, slicing them open. Okay, so now we have these lovely pita pockets that we're gonna fill with this fish cake mess stuff. Yeah, lovely, look at that. Exactly what I was hoping for. We don't wanna overfill them. Maybe we do, I don't know. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, and we'll do this one. All right, so let's get that pan heated up. Yeah. We'll wait till it gets hot and then we'll put some avocado oil in there. Okay, so we got about 2 millimeters of oil in that pan, and that seems like it's hot enough. So we're gonna pan fry these guys, and I'm gonna put them together like this so they don't spill out of there. Just like that. We give those a few minutes. And we have this on kind of low medium. We don't want to make it too hot because we want them to cook all the way through without burning the outside. Okay, I think this is time for a flip. It's getting pretty stable, so I'm gonna cut this in half. It's time to separate these. I'll put them independently. Oh yeah. Golden. Oh yeah. Give those a few minutes on that side, and then we eat. Okay, they don't need as long on the second side, so I think these are done. I feel pretty good about it. Oh yeah. All right, so we gave these a few minutes to cool down. It's really hot out here today too, so we're a little spicy, but I'm excited to try this one. I had this idea a while ago and I've been wanting to try it, and Megan's bread's been coming out so good. Thank you for putting these together. See how these go. Yeah, wow. Okay. They weren't even that hard to make. I mean, your bread was probably harder to make than this was. Pretty
good food along the way.
Good. Yeah, you can't complain. We're doing pretty well. So, this is a good idea, I think. We should do these again.
It was. It's simple, but yeah, like hard. It's like homey.
It is.
Very homey.
It's comfortable. We need like a soup to dip it in
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's really good. It's moist and crunchy on the outside. So we'll be getting back in the water in a couple days here. Hopefully it gets calmer pretty soon, but thank you guys so much for your awesome support and everyone's encouragement. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching.